Oh boy, Shimizu Akari, highly controversial unit right now. A lot of people think she's bugged, a lot of people think she's just mid. In this video, I'm gonna show you the new guild boss team comps that I am using now that you can also use, of course. Might work for DPS too, so if you're interested, just keep watching. And I'm gonna change the format a bit because there's a lot of things going on here. We're not gonna talk about the builds yet, but for every test, I have optimized them, of course, at least in terms of artifact types and builds, so that it would make sense. The builds, of course, and the lineup could change still. I'm still waiting for some things that could further improve current results, but for now, I'm just going to give you some insights based on what I have been able to experience so far, and of course, the lineup that actually worked for me. I do have some. I test a lot of lineups. I'm going to show you only a few, but I did test like a lot, almost non-stop. I haven't slept a good amount of hours yet, like probably like 3-4 hours. Like really, I'm doing this thing because I'm so pissed as well, and I wanted to know the answer so that you guys can also get some ideas and help you decide whether or not to pull for Akari or not. But do take note, of course, this is just me, my account, my personal take, my experience. It may or may not work for you, so take it with a grain of salt. Just get only the information that you might need and adjust accordingly depending on what you have, your situation, your resources, whatever units you have. So this one right here is the old lineup that we were using. I have Maylin here, and I have Min here at Team C, Angel and White. You guys already watched the video on this. The highest score that I was able to get here, which is very, very difficult to achieve. Of course, a lot of RNGs involved as well. 9.7 billion. So I did this again post patch. I did it many times, but I didn't screenshot the other attempts. But you can see here that the damage is almost the same in everyone. Mirei, Gogun Hee, there was a difference with the Thomas Andres damage, of course. That's gonna be like, for example, the ult. Some of the ult did not go in with Shadow Step or Moon Shadow. But anyway, the average that I was getting like 9.5 to 9.7. Still the same. I did have some improvements on my characters, but not a lot. So I ended up like doing the same. Probably if I do try hard, do lots of runs, maybe I can get higher, but I don't want to waste my time on that anymore. And I tested a couple of lineups. So I just chose the best ones where I got really good scores. So this one lineup here, oh my goodness, I invested some resources on Baekhyun-ho, although I did not specifically. He's still A3 and using Charlotte's weapon A10 just to get some stats going on. The stats were like 25k, 26k defense, somewhere around that. A3, I was able to deal 350 M damage on him, which is kind of decent, but we're looking at around 700 million here for the endgame build. A10 weapon, A10 unit, and good stats, good artifacts, like high level skills, things like those. So probably 700 M, 800 M. So here we average around 9.7, 9.8, 9.6, 9.6. Let's just talk about the composition and why it works. So firstly, we already do know that Mailing Fisher is actually a good buffer for those two units. Again, here. And then we place the carry on Team C. And the reason why we can do this is that Mailing Fisher won't be buffing anyone if she's not on Team A, so this cannot be interchanged. So the reason why this one works and how Akari contributes to the overall team damage is because she has a debuff that increases the light damage taken. Here, 16%, 20%. She improves the damage of GGH and Thomas Andre. And we also have Baekhyun-ho here, who also dealt a good amount of damage. And him being here, using grid set. So here's the stats, by the way. Defense penetration, crit damage increase, but the defense is like 25k. Most of my units are like 33k, 35k defense already. Him being here, he actually benefits also from Akari, right? From the ultimate, from the skills that he's dealing, because he's also like a ultimate based unit in the skill-based unit. We also have Chahe in here, who's also gonna benefit from that. That's why where's Chai in there? That's why if you check the damage output here, by the way, she's using Mirei's gears here. She dealt like 1.4 billion, 1.5 billion, 1.4 billion. So this Team C now is a standalone light team that can also improve the damage output of Team A, which is the main DPS teams, through Akari and through Yunho's extra defense decrease. So Yunho's defense decrease is not going to be a strong choice defense decrease. Chae-in will also of course benefit them with the branded debuff. So basically Team C dealing good amount of damage and helping Team A deal a lot of damage. Literally a lot. 4 billion on Thomas Andre. So Team B right now here was Hansemi and then Libora and then Choi Jong-in. So Team B basically has become just a debuffer that can deal a bit of damage. So this lineup, you can only use this if you have a Yunho that can actually deal damage. Still, a lot of these things are situational, of course. For example, you put Min here, you try to buff Thomas Andre, but maybe your Thomas Andre is not that strong, and then that's not going to work as well. So situational, every account, just adjust accordingly. So far, pretty decent, and I'm expecting it to reach at least 10 billion plus if I build my Yunho better with the weapons, with the advancements, and all of those things. But I'm not gonna do that because that would cost a lot for a minimal increase. So, well, probably not minimal. If you have him anyway, then that's good. But in my case, he's only A3. I'm not gonna spend custom tickets to try and get him to A5 here, even though this one is technically good. So my option right now, which is where I'm getting my best results so far, is gonna be this lineup with Meilin plus Akari. So this is where I got 10.4. Of course, this is gonna be involves some RNG factors as well, but I would say that the average here, like easy average here, is 10 billion. Still the same. The only change is that Min got replaced by Akari for the same reason that she can debuff the target and therefore improve the damage of the light units. You can see here that we have higher damage output, of course, on Thomas Andre, Gogun-hee, as well as Chae-in, but it's much weaker than before since Chae-in has to give up some artifacts to Mirai Amamiya. So this might be improved even if once I get better artifacts on Chae-in, which is why I think this is gonna be better in my case. Now, the thing here, if you want to use this team comp, as well as the other one, is of course, both your Thomas Andre and your Gogun-hee must be DPS capable. If they can't DPS, then there's no one to buff with Meilin and Akari, so that might not turn out well. So the way it works, again, Akari improving the damage of all the light units even if she's not in the team, and Meilin Fisher buffing Team A, and the crucial one here is that Meilin Fisher will buff Mirai Amamiya with her weapon, which is 16%. You may also have noticed that Thomas Andre and Gogun-hee's damage is much lower here, and that's because we don't have the defense decrease, the additional defense decrease of Baek Yunho. So the damage improvement of Baek is not as huge as what Choi could offer, okay? But still, it contributes well, and the main condition for him to be worth it in this lineup is to actually deal some damage. So now we also have another lineup that can deal just the same, almost the same damage output. And that is with Min on Team C and Akari on Team A. Here, Team A, Akari, and Min Team C. I forgot to screenshot. And I can get pretty much almost the same damage as this one. So here you would see that Mirai's damage drop. That's because we don't have Meilin anymore, right? And we have major improvement on the damage of Thomas Andre, and that's because we have Min, who will buff his ultimate with Min's A5 advancement. And then of course they now have Akari on their team, which also buffs them directly. But you will notice here as well that Gogun-hee's damage significantly dropped, and that's because Meilin Fisher's buffs are actually more valuable for Gogun-hee. with the core attack, because Gogunhi's damage a lot of it comes from core attacks. Okay, but still, this lineup is also good. Min, Team C, and Akari, Team A. I also tested Team C, Baekhyunho, although it's very hard to play this because there's no support on Team C and Akari Team A. So the value of Min and the value of Baekhyunho is almost the same in this case, but Yunho's value will be much greater once he is able to deal a lot of damage. So I'm still getting pretty much the same scores. So no matter what I changed, no matter what I did, I'm still getting the same amount of scores, because there's always gonna be a trade-off. So you can see here Mirei's damage improved a bit because defense decreased again. And one of the things that happened as well here is that Jae-in lost a bit of damage because Yunho is not a good buffer Team C, and Libora probably also lost a bit of damage there, but that's okay. So everywhere you go, like no matter what you do actually right now, it's gonna be the same. In this case, even if I change Akari to Maylin Fisher here, I forgot to test that. It's probably also gonna be the same. Okay, because Maylin Fisher will buff these two, and then she will buff Mirei. Mirei will have insane amount of damage because we have Baekhyunho here. And of course, if we use Maylin Fisher here, Thomas Andre's damage is gonna drop, but Gogunhi's damage will definitely increase because of that core attack damage, even just by a bit. So there's a trade-off to everything. But what is common right now that I would say, in my opinion, based on my experience, is that, just to sum it up, Min plus Maylin is definitely much weaker. But if you use Akari right now, no matter like where you put her, Team A, Team C, there's going to be a higher average damage. Again, this is only in my count. Your count might be different. Lots of factors involved here. Now, when it comes to the DPS builds, you can use any of these depending on what you have, depending on the situation you have, but with the exception of Maylin Fisher. So you guys probably watch the DPS guys in like Taipal and other guild boss posts by some players out there that they're using Isla, right? And what I mean by DPS or hybrid is that the use of magnifying slashes. Okay, so any of these setups probably will work. We just remove the Maylin Fisher, and then most likely cannot use Akari on Team A because Akari only buffs the light team and the light damage. Jinwoo will not benefit from her at all. Although it might work if you have like slightly weaker Jinwoo, and you might get net positive from very strong Gogunhi even if you're using a hybrid build. But those are case-to-case basis. So in general, you still want to use Isla Right because Isla Right's buff for DPS, the death buff and the consistent application of crit rate and damage, things like those when she is at slot 2 is crazy. So most likely you're gonna run the DPS build here. Akari will be a Team C. It's either gonna be Akari or it's gonna be Baekhyunho, or you can also use something like this, full light Team C, Team A with Isla, Gogunhi, Thomas Andre, and Team B with all these debuffers. So just test it out yourselves and see where it's gonna work out for you.